What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Imagine if that was my voice, that'd be crazy, right? To a couple of things real quick before we get into this, well more than a couple of things. First and foremost, the bulk of this video is a live stream that I've chopped into a video and I'm post-comming again. I built a team. I've got an attribute card on Koscielny there and I'm going to explain why and talk about why in a brief second. Second thing to note is, so most of this is from the live stream, and I basically played the tournament to qualify for FUT CHAMPS because I wanted the pack, the reward, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the other thing I want to talk about is I've got my window open today, and I can hear the cars on the road, and it's actually like a fair ways away, the road, but because it's like a wooded area, there's not really much, like the noise bounces quite a lot. I want to test how the noise is through the mic whilst I'm recording, because I want to know if basically I can record freely with my window open or if I have to make sure I have it closed every time. And although I could do that as tests off camera, I feel like the best way to truly judge is by getting your guys' reactions. So I basically want to know if the cars driving past are too loud or inaudible or just don't bother you. Let me know in the comment section below. So why do I have an attributes card on Koscielny? Why is it bronze and why is it based on physical alone? Well, if you guys remember last weekend league, I used Eric Bailly and Chris Smalling as my two centre backs. Now I'm going to do the traditional NepentheZ going to foothead on video thing, and I'm going to grab I'm not going to grab Bailly, but I'm going to look at Bailly's card, and basically Bailly has 81 stamina. When you compare that to Chris Smalling's stamina, Chris Smalling has 79 stamina, so the pair of them have very similar stamina. And then Koscielny, who's probably going to be my centre-back this weekend league, has only 73 stamina. So he's a ways behind Smalling and even further behind Bailly. And I attribute, in my honest opinion, the stamina of certain players to be one of the main reasons what helps me win games. I can't tell you the amount of times in the 70th or 80th or 85th minute where I'm like, thank God that he was able to, you know, get there. Thank God that Bailly was able to catch up. Thank God that Smalling was able to catch up with whoever's striker who had basically been gassed out. And I notice a lot that like Hector Bellerin for me, Kevin De Bruyne, they run out of stamina real quickly. I have to sub them off quite often. It actually really puts me off using De Bruyne because I hate having to sub out a midfielder every single game. I don't mind using subs, but I like to use them where I feel I need them, not where I'm forced to use them. So definitely after this weekend league, and maybe even during this weekend league, I might get rid of De Bruyne. I don't enjoy him. I don't think he's worth the money. I bought him to test him out, and I don't think he's valuable. I don't think for the 190 to 200,000 coins that you're going to play with him, I don't think he's worth it. So what I did anyway, and what I'm talking about here could actually change drastically my theories on using De Bruyne, is I put that bronze +5 attribute card on Koscielny in physical only. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted to see whether or not it had an effect on his in-game stamina, because the physical chem styles don't change stamina. So if you put a sentinel on Koscielny, it will boost his defending, it will boost his physical. In fact, let's have a look at what it does. Sentinel boosts his defending to 96 and his physical to 88. However, his stamina remains at 73. So chem styles just don't change stamina, right? So what I wanted to try out was, if I put a attribute card on Koscielny, does that boost his stamina? And if so, by how much? And it did. The bronze +5 boosted his stamina from 73 to 77. So I've got all the coaches now, so instead of it being +5, it's +7, which means I'm probably going to get a +6 stamina boost on Koscielny, taking him from 73 stamina to 79 stamina. And you might think that's not really that relevant. But because this is a road to glory and I open a lot of bronze packs, I have a lot of bronze attribute cards. I refrain from using them typically, but they're there in the club. They don't discard for anything notable. I have too many coins anyway. Doesn't make any difference. So I'm tempted to start using physical cards, physical attribute cards on players that have low stamina to try and feel the effect of whether or not they're relevant. And it takes me to a few of the people that do use attribute cards. I think #Harry has used attribute cards in FUT Champions. I know MatchD Gamers use attribute cards in FUT Champions. I know there's been a couple other dudes that have got like 37, 38 wins that have used attribute cards. And I wonder if that it helped them not because it boosts the regular stats like the shooting or the finishing or the curve or the free kicks, but I wonder if it helped them more due to the fact that it boosted their stamina to an elite level. So in that late stage, in that 70th, 75th, 80th minute, when your opponent is just dead in the water, and you know, especially if they've got a team full of players that have low stamina anyway, their players all dead, making horrible runs, unable to track back as good, you know, very weak on the ball because they're tired, and your players are sitting there with 99 stamina just using and abusing everything. I wonder if that's the case. So basically, I want to try it out. I want to test it out. You know, I'm not a fan of using attribute cards in FUT Champions. I don't believe that they serve a purpose in there. I believe I'm kind of in two minds because you know, they're in the game, they're there to be used. However, it's kind of still just a money game, isn't it? It says those of you that open packs and store them or have the coins to just go and buy them will benefit more than those that don't. And typically those that have the coins to buy them or have opened so many packs that they don't need to buy them because they've got loads of them anyway, typically those people have better teams than the people that would actually make better use of attribute cards, meaning they have even less reason to use them. So there is something to be said for, hey, they're in the game, they're not against the rules, everyone has the same opportunity to use them, so use them. But there's also something to say that this is, you know, you're giving yourself an artificial boost, and that's not really that cool. However, what's the difference? What's the difference of having a 75 rated midfielder from a guy who doesn't play often but has qualified for FUT Champs coming up against a guy with Ruud Gullit? That's basically like if that guy had a regular player with an attributes card on to the same tune of Ruud Gullit. Is that not the same? So there's lots of arguments to be made, and I can see and understand and appreciate the argument both for attribute cards and against attribute cards. I personally would prefer it if they were just disabled somehow in FUT Champions. I would prefer it if EA had something that basically said if you have a, you know, like how when a contract's run out or when an injury is on the player, you just can't advance because it says you can't advance with this player because he's injured or yada yada yada. I would prefer it if they had something like that for attribute cards as well, where if you had any attribute card on any player, it basically said no. So for me personally, I have a feeling that using the physical attribute card could be beneficial to me through nothing other than stamina levels. That's why I want to use it, and as I say, I want to use it because I personally believe, and I could be totally wrong here, this is just my assumptions on the game as per how many games I've played and what I've done and what players I use, but I personally believe that stamina levels late on in the game are quite possibly the most important thing. You know, if you've got someone with high stamina levels with lower stats, they'll outperform someone with low stamina levels with higher stats. Case in point, De Bruyne constantly has to get removed from the game for me because his stamina levels aren't good enough, whereas Sigurdsson was able to play the full 90 minutes for me. That's why I kind of want to test it out and see where it goes. But I would understand if people would be concerned with that. I would understand if people would say, why ruin a good thing? You know, I've got Elite 1 for the first time ever, using no cheats, no attribute cards, using a regular team that I've earned my way to. Why now? Why now start putting attribute cards on and trying to, you know, boost your way to an extra win or two here or there? And the bottom line is because I'm hungry for success. I want to be an elite player. I want to be considered one of the best, and to do that, I need to get into the top 100. And to do that, like everybody else that plays for Champions, I want to use and should use everything that's at my fingertips without breaking any rules. And in that case, using attribute cards is there. It's not breaking any rules. It's morally frowned upon, but it's not breaking any rules. So what I'll do is I'll take the view of the viewers, I'll take the view of you guys in the comment section below and how you feel about it as to whether or not I'll do it. Failing that, like as I say, I don't anticipate. I've got loads of attribute cards. I've got some silver, like rare ones where it gives it +6 to every stat and stuff. I don't anticipate to use those. I literally just anticipate to use the ones that I have from the bronze pack method, or just the ones I have in the club. Like I'll never go out and buy attribute cards. And more importantly, I only really look at using the physical ones and only on the players that have low stamina, just so that I can decide who and when I take off as per how the game's going, rather than being forced to sub out a player because they've got low energy, if that makes any sense at all. So that's where we are. Now, some comments from the video. SullyTube says, "Hey Nep, what do you think EA is not talking? Why do you think EA is not talking about input delay? Love your vids." I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, one of the things that's frustrated me with EA for many years is their lack of just communication with the viewers. You know, they don't have to come out and say we're fixing it or we can't fix it or you guys are just making this crap up. All they have to do is say, we've heard your concerns, we're looking into it, we'll get back to you when we have more information. That's it. At that point, if they choose to just sit there and ignore the issue, at least they've lied to us. At least they've had the decency to say, we'll take a look sometime. But they don't. They just ignore it as if it's a non-entity, and it's not a non-entity. So many people suffer with it. I suffer with speed up lag since I moved down to Bournemouth quite a lot. I get it probably every 1 in 8 games, which doesn't seem like much, but isn't acceptable. And a lot of people suffer with a lot of problems a lot, and EA just refuse to acknowledge that they exist, and I don't think that's good enough. Even with Chemgate last year, when the chemistry stuff came out, they only acknowledged the issue when it was irrefutably proved that there was an issue. You know, it was a good 3 or 4 days of people being like offering hard evidence that there was an issue with chemistry before EA came out and were like, whoa guys, there's an issue with chemistry, we'll look into this, we'll get back to you. And it seems like it literally takes like in your face, how can you not agree with this kind of like behavior before they'll take a look at anything. And with input delay and with speed up lag, it's not in your face. There's no evidence. There's nothing to say you're getting input delay. Maybe you just pressed the button a bit later than you thought you did. Maybe you just got a really bad connection. Like, you know, maybe it's all in your head because there's like it like video evidence isn't good enough either. There's nothing to support the fact that you have button delay or input delay. Only your own feeling of how the game should work, right? And so I think it's hard for people to prove in your face. And with that being said, based on the history of EA and how they've communicated with us, until somebody comes out and says, hey, this is the input delay, this is how it works, this is how I know it's factual, and here's your problem, EA. Until that day comes about, I don't think they're ever going to say anything about it or do anything about it. And that's sad. But that's the truth, unfortunately. WWE22IFY says, hey Nep, could you tell us a story about your tattoos? Sure. That's my name right there. I've got some Sanskrit writing there that reads my life, my love, my rules. I was very depressed many years ago. I still battle with depression a lot now, and it's tough. Like, life's tough, even for the blessed. You know, I find myself very blessed to do the job that I do, to live where I live. You know, moving house now to be able to support my family and to be able to give my daughter the things that she needs, to be able to provide for her as a parent. I feel blessed, but I still get depressed, man. I still have my days where things just aren't great. Things are pretty dark, and I've got a lot of troubles outside of YouTube and what I do for a job and what the perception of who I am as a person is. I've got a lot of troubles outside of that, and let alone my legal issues right now with the Gambling Commission. But also things like family issues. You know, I've got a lot of problems with my younger brother. He's battling his own demons a lot, and because his dad is nowhere to be seen, from me being a young boy, I was basically a father figure to him, and that's a hard thing to deal with and a hard thing to take on. So getting this tattoo in Sanskrit, reading my life, my love, my rules, it, like, at that point there was a point in time where I just felt like it was just too much for me. Like, life was just too much, and I was basically saying fuck you to those. And I apologise for swearing, and if there are any parents with kids here, like, I do apologise for the swearing, but this could be like a valuable lesson for anyone really, and for parents to explain to their kids, or for kids to explain to their parents if anyone's having, you know, issues. There was a point where it's like I was bending over backwards to help and support everyone, and I felt like I was getting nothing back. And maybe I was getting things back, maybe it was just the way I was looking at things, maybe it was just the hand that I was being dealt, maybe I was being selfish, but I felt like I was giving everything to everyone, you know. I worked for my dad for many years, long days. I used to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't get home from work until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd have just 8 hours every day to myself, to bathe, to run errands, to socialize, to sleep, and that wasn't enough time, you know. So it got tough, man, and so it reads my life, my love, my rules, because for me, that's me saying, like, if you can't reciprocate with what I'm giving and give back, then you don't deserve to be part of my life, and you don't deserve my love. And that's kind of that's kind of what that means and what it stands for, you know. And it's true to so many things that's happened in my life and still happens in my life today. There's so many times where I feel, again, this may just be very selfish, but there are so many times where I feel like I do so much for some people, be it friends, be it family, be it acquaintances, be it just viewers and subscribers. But there are times where I feel like I do so much for so many people and I get nothing back, and it just hurts. It hurts to feel like you're being used, you know. If any of you guys have ever been through anything like that before, you'll understand and you'll know where I'm coming from. But for those of you that have never been through something like that, it's very much a, oh my god, man up. Like I get that, right? But when you experience emotions, you experience emotions. You can't hide them, you can't change them. You feel them or you don't feel them, and that's what I feel. That's where I go. So that's why that tattoo is there. And then this tribal, it's actually like, I can't really show much because it's YouTube, but you can see it like here a little bit. So it actually covers like my whole chest, my whole arm. It like goes all up the back of the arm there. And that was like my independence. Like I worship my dad, right? My dad is like, he taught me so many like valuable lessons in life. He gave me a job. He put me on the right path in life. I grew up in a really rough area, like a really rough area. If you guys know where New Addington is, it's in like South Croydon. It's like, it's a dogged area, man. It's not a nice area at all. I don't know what it's like now because I haven't been there for like, God, 15 years, right? But my dad took me out of New Addington, worked with him in the pubs, and he taught me the value of so many things. Like, my dad was, I've explained to you guys before in videos, like I've been like extremely rich before, or like my family has been extremely rich, and we've been broke. Like, and when I say broke, I mean like, I remember like on the streets with my mum and my sister before like my other siblings were born, in a place called Thornton Heath, which is like real close to Croydon, and having to get like emergency housing for one evening, where we'd just literally get put in a bed and breakfast because otherwise we'd be sleeping on the streets because we had nowhere to go and nothing to do. Like, I remember being that poor, right? I remember being poor to the point where I would wear 2-year-old shoes on my feet at school that were like too small for me because we just couldn't afford new shoes, and trousers that would be halfway up my ankles because we couldn't afford new trousers. Like, I've been there, right? I've been through the mill. I've been to the highest highs and the lowest lows, and that like a lot of that was like my dad bringing me out of that and teaching me the value of money and teaching me what's important was massive. But my dad had like a vision for me, and obviously when you're a parent, you want the best for your kids, but you think you know best. I think I know best for my daughter. I probably don't. My dad thought he knew best for me. There were times, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, where he knew best for me, but there was that 0.1% of the time where I knew best for me. And so getting the initial part of the tattoo, because it only used to come to about here, getting the initial part was me saying to my dad, I am me. I am a product of you, but I'm not you, and I'm not going to do everything that you tell me to do. I've got my own life, my own personality, and I've got my own like drive and my own ideas, and I can think for myself. And I was an adult at the time because it took me a long time to become an adult. Like, I know that sounds weird, but like it took me till I was like 19 or 20 years old to realize that I had an opinion and I had a voice, and what I say and what I think matters. And it took way too long for me to realize that. I was a very shy person in school. I was a very shy person in general until I started working in the pub, because when you work in a pub, you're there behind a bar, you are talking to the staff every day, and you are talking to hundreds and at times thousands of customers every day. It just brings you out as a person, right? But yeah, so the start of this tribal tattoo was me just saying to my dad, like, basically, screw you. It's me saying like, I could do what I want because I'm an adult and I'll do what I want. And that's why I got the tribal tattoo. Like back in my day, back when I was actually 18 years old and got this tattoo, tribals were, and I still like, I love it. Like it represents more than just being a tattoo to me. It's more about what it represents from my childhood growing up, rather than the fact that it's just a bit of a crappy tribal tattoo. Because let's be honest, it's a bit of a crappy tribal tattoo. It's so common, and it's so over, like, you just see it too much on too many people. And if I could go back and get something different to represent that, I would, but this is what I have. This is what I'm stuck with. It's, you know, it's on. I could get it like removed, but I don't want to get it removed because it does mean something to me. But I got the rest of it done because I actually I had plans to get, and I still have plans to get like a full sleeve. But it's like finding the right time and finding the time in general to actually go and get it and do it is really difficult. Like, so yeah, I basically got the tribal a bit further down. I wanted to get it all the way down, and then once I got it down to here where it is now, I changed my mind and now I want some different things on my arm, and I'll get like, I didn't like just wake up one day and be like, oh, do you know what? I don't want the tribal anymore. I want something else because of what happened, like the events that went through my life here or there. That's what kind of changed my thought process as to what I want and why I want it, right? So yeah, basically I will get it a sleeve event. Like, I've now moved down to Bournemouth. Like, my life is kind of simmering down a bit more to being less hectic. So when I've got the time, I'll go and find a good tattoo parlor around here and get some stuff done. But that's what they mean. And sorry for the in-depth finding out about me thing. I didn't expect to do that. Didn't expect to like talk about that sort of stuff right here today. But it's good to be open and honest with you guys. You know, like I think a lot of people watch me, both young and old, and don't like go through a lot of stuff when they watch videos. Like, a lot of people on YouTube are introverts that watch YouTube, and even YouTubers as well. And they're introverts because, like, well, they watch YouTube because they're introverts because they struggle socially. They don't, you know, they find it hard to talk about the things they want to talk about, and they find it hard to open up to people that care about them or notice that people care about them. And so they use YouTube as an escape because you get to pick what reality is yours on YouTube, right? If you like comedy, you could just go and find a comedy YouTuber that suits you and like resonates with you and connects with you. So I think it's good sometimes to just open up and be honest with you guys, so that you can understand that although I am this figure on YouTube, I'm not. I'm just a guy in a house making videos in front of a camera. Like, I just play FIFA and I upload it to YouTube, and I'm immensely grateful. Like, you have no idea, immensely grateful that you guys pick my videos, not necessarily over other people's videos, because you may watch more than one video per day, I get that, but you pick my videos. Like, I'm so happy and so grateful that you guys pick my videos, because I am just a normal person, and like, sometimes it's good to show that to you guys, that I'm like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like, I'm like, when I used to watch YouTubers, I see them as like this, and like that, I just see them as an entity. I don't see them as a person. I see them as a thing. Like, oh, let's go and watch this video today from this person, but you don't get to know them or understand them or where they've been or what stories they've got to tell. So from time to time, it is nice to tell you guys a story here or there. I didn't actually plan to do it today. I've got so many tabs open for questions, and I just have no time to talk about them. But there is one question that I'll answer the next one because it's idiotic and I love it. Fionn O'Donoghue says, Nep, do you think EA should do draws don't count as games, as this will stop part of the bus from kickoff? First of all, it wouldn't stop part of the bus from kickoff. Second of all, no. Imagine if you got 30 draws in a row in FUT Champions, and instead of going to extra time and penalties, it just didn't count as a game. You would be 30 games deep, and you would have played 0 games. It's the most idiotic comment I think I've seen. Like, and no disrespect to you, Fionn. You've obviously got something in your mind's eye that thinks that this is a good idea, and I respect that. I respect the fact that you're able to like, as I was just mentioning, you know, have your voice and have your say. I personally just think that that's not a very good idea. I don't think that would benefit FIFA anyway at all. Now, we end up winning Division 3, guys, so we are up into Division 2, 7 straight wins in Division 3, which is great. Hopefully we can push on to D2 and D1 over the coming week or two. Not that I feel like I need to. I don't need to win it and I don't need the coins, but I just want to do it as a check on the list of, okay, we've done that as well now. 1 Division 1 on this account. Happy days. But this, guys, is going to be the end of the video, so thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.